What is your American dream?
My American dream is that, we have peace and equality for all. That we stop this border walls. Don't build walls, build bridges, as the Pope says. And I go along with what he says. That we open the doors to America, not just to special people.
I'm pursuing my dream that I've always had since I was a child and never could, which is to be a full-time musician. So I am living my dream.
I have my American dream. My father came here with $35 in his pocket. He died a millionaire, so that was my American dream.
My American dream. Take the lotto.
My American dream is to bring Little Italy back to what it was and to continue doing what we're doing.
I feel like my American dream is to be able to make art that represents all of America, not just the white middle to upper class America, so that people can see themselves represented and can see themselves as American and feel like everyone has a place here.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday, January 16th, the year 2020. I am joined by Vanessa Nesquik Contreras. How are you?
I'm feeling good today, Brad.
You're feeling good today. I have an American dream, Vanessa. I've never shared it with you.
I was just going to say, of all these dreams we hear, what's yours?
My dream is to do a show live with you and Yo-Yo together. We can't seem to get everybody scheduled on the same page. I finally get Nesquik in the studio, and where's Yo-Yo?
We're trying to coordinate. We're coming together, Brad. These talent schedules are just out of control.
Do you think tomorrow I would reach my American dream?
The weather, the way the wind blows,
we'll see.
It could be a shift.
Every day I pray for my American dream. I say, please, I just want to be joined by the Brad Squad. I want to be joined by Nesquik and Yo-Yo. That's my dream.
We're working on it, Brad.
All right, let's say hello to Dionne Watson, Squad Up. Nene God Pickney, how are you? Jessica Leamy, Joelle Reed, Elizabeth Francis, Squad Up. Exquisite, beautiful, ravishing. First Lady Graham. She's just exquisite, but I'm sure she's ravishing and beautiful too.
I'm sure.
Right?
She'll take it.
She'll take it. Christy Consali, how are you? Lisa Blingro saying Squad Up. Ioannis McDonald. It's a new name. Maybe she's been watching before, or he.
Right.
But I don't recall Ioannis.
We're always recruiting in the Brad Squad.
I like it. Marcia McCullough, how are you? Katrina Daniel. Katrina, you got to say Squad Up first and then ask your question. Right? She just goes right in.
In order for your question to be eligible.
She goes, the hell with the squad. I got my immigration question. We're gonna answer that in a little bit. Latoya, his forever Peterson. And I love that name, except when you're heartbroken, you're not his forever.
No.
So hopefully you will never be heartbroken. Latoya, his forever Peterson. Ma Dukes, how are you? Ma'am, yeah. Ma'am, yeah.
Yeah.
Say hi, Brad Squad. How are you? Terry DeReal. I call her Slamaz, but I guess it's Slim Ass.
Yeah.
She's
whatever dialect you want to use to pronounce it today.
Well, on Wednesdays, on Hump Day, it's Slim Ass. But on Thursday's regular day, it's just Slamaz to me. All right. And let's see who we got on YouTube. On YouTube, we have Simone Garraway. Ja Love saying hello to everybody. Nikisha Thomas saying hey. TKOPO. TKOPO? Is that Ticket Po?
Ticket-po?
Guess. The Forbes saying Squad Up. Toya Wells saying Squad Up. One and all welcome newcomers. We do like newcomers.
Right.
I like old comers too. Not because you're old.
No,
but
repeat.
Just repeat people. That's a better word. Thank you.
Yeah.
I like my squad, but I like new people to join the squad.
I have a better one for you. What about our loyal Loyal instead of repeat.
Yes.
Loyal has you repeating this every day at 5:30, 6 o'clock ish.
Repeat sounds boring.
Right.
Loyal sounds.
Loyal. You know I got you, squad.
You know what loyal sounds like? Loyal.
It
sounds loyal. Cindy Albert, Squad Up, Max Santos, Errol Townsend, Alicia Henry, how are you? A lady by the name of Vanessa Contreras, also known as Nesquik, has joined YouTube saying, Squad Up! TKO Poe with a question. At least she has she has the right Bradshaw live manners by saying squad up first and then asking the question. Right? That is proper. Right? Is that proper way to do it?
Yeah, you gotta say you're present first.
That's right.
And then get to the bread and butter of the deal.
Correct. And by the way, we're on again, off again on Instagram, but today looks like an on again.
Perfect.
So let's go to Instagram and say hello to I'ma Be Me, saying squad up family. Pretty Cities 4 joined us. Baba TRTR. Instagram is so much harder to say hello to people because their names are so much harder.
It's the handle.
Yeah, Yosef Bailey has joined us. Kazito Becky saying hello. Kerry K. Moyadu saying hello. Danielle. I said Pretty Cities. Christy Consali. Wow. Christy Consali, first time on Instagram. She could also, you think she's double fisting with a foot? That's our new thing now because we're like, you have, YouTube in one hand, Facebook in another. Where are you watching Instagram? You got to get the foot up, right?
Right. Unless you have one of these Galaxy phones where you could have like two screens, two apps up at once.
I don't know.
We're iPhone users on this side.
Yeah, I'm thinking they got 3 devices going.
Whatever will take. We'll take all of it as long as our questions are answered, I'm sure.
That is right. And like yesterday, for example, Cordella Douglas said she was on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and then announced she was at the gym. And I'm like, how do you have 3 devices, 2 devices in a hand, 1 in a foot, and how you're like hopping on 1 foot? How are you in the gym?
She's running.
All this. All right, Stargirl TK saying hello also, and hello to everybody else who I missed. I sometimes miss you, and I'm sorry. I can't say hello to everybody every day, but I try my best, I swear. And if I did miss you, it's not done on purpose. I love everybody. And
you do great.
Nesquik, why don't you tell everybody what to do so they know how to share and like and love and whatever else they need to do.
Good stuff.
All instructions that you need to give them.
Alrighty, Brad Squad, we've already said hello to you guys on all of our networks. And if you have not already shared this is what we're here for on Facebook. I need everyone to log on. Make sure that you are following us on Facebook. First things first on Facebook, make sure that you are on our fan page. Our Facebook fan page is where we will take our first 5 questions during our social media check-in. So if you need your questions answered, make sure that you're following us on our Facebook fan page and that you ask your question there. That's where we select the first 5 questions during social media check-in. Make sure that you give this a like, thumbs up, that you're following us, and share. Brad is gonna get to the bread and butter of the show pretty soon where he answers the immigration questions, and you wanna make sure that everyone around you is tuned in. Just like you're tuned in now, there's plenty of people that need this information. You know how helpful everything Brad has to say is. So make sure that on Facebook you are sharing the live cast right now. On YouTube, you can do the same as well. Make sure that you are, first things first, subscribe to our channel and you turn on that notification bell so that you know when we're finally on live every day. Make sure that you share as well then on a post. And here we go, let's get started. Let's get to schmoozing with Brad.
Nesquik, that was fabulous.
I told you I had it down pat.
You had it down
all by myself.
You had it down pat.
I usually have my right-hand man with me.
Yo who, right? Yo who? Yo what?
Baby boy who?
Baby boy who? No.
I held it down for my boy.
All right. So today marked the official start of the impeachment. Donald John. Did you know his middle name? We always know him as Donald J. Trump.
Right.
I found out today.
John.
I had no idea it was John.
He's not a Joe.
No, he's not a Joe. He's Donald. His real name is Donald John Trump. Only because I saw them read off the impeachment articles in the Senate. The impeachment articles are the accusations against Donald John Trump as president of the United States. And I'm like, John, I had no idea. I always thought it was Donald J. Trump.
Yep, got to get the whole, with what this process we're working on right now, let's get the legal name on there.
Correct.
Make sure we don't confuse them.
You see, because when my name is Bradford H. Bernstein.
Oh, you're a Bradford.
I am a Bradford. And everyone always says, what does the H stand for? I go, nothing. It's just an initial. If you look at my birth certificate,
you're just an
initial? Just an initial. That's it. My parents could have come up with the middle name.
No, but they're like, we did great with Bradford.
Yeah, Bradford. So, a lot of times my friends used to, when I was younger, they used to say, hey, H. That was it.
The thing. I had a friend in high school. Her name was K.
K.
Just the letter K.
But not
she was
K-A-Y.
Filipino. No.
Not K-A-Y.
Just the letter K.
Really? So I thought he was Jay, but I found out John.
That's just you.
Yeah. So Donald John Trump's impeachment trial started today. The outcome is going to determine whether or not he gets to run again for a re-election or whether he gets thrown out of office ahead of time. Now, I will say...
What are your predictions?
Okay, my prediction is that he will not be impeached. And my prediction is that he will survive and that he will hopefully not get reelected again by the American public, who will be what I say the appeals board of the impeachment trial. Now, Jilly Bean.
I was going to say that's your prediction, but we had a
Jilly
conversation.
Bean's prediction is that he will not survive into the spring. She feels a lot of stuff is coming out. It's really, really bad, which I agree. So, for example, today, Lev Parnas. Do you know who Lev Parnas is?
I'm not familiar.
Okay. Have you ever seen the movie or the Broadway musical, The Producers?
No.
Do you know? Are you familiar with that?
No.
No. Well, it's basically a show about a guy who's trying to sell a show, and it's terrible, and he's just a con artist.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and this guy Lev Parnas looks to me like a con artist.
So he fits the role.
And he fits the profile of somebody who would be in that musical. And he came out in the news, both on MSNBC's Rachel Maddow and in the New York Times. And he said that Donald Trump was aware of all of my movements in the Ukraine. Lev Parnas was sent as basically the scout to go and make the introductions between Giuliani and the Ukrainian government to try to get dirt on Biden and basically be the go-between, because they couldn't do it through official channels. They had to do it through unofficial channels. Be the go-between, get the dirt on Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, and use that to basically win a second election for Donald Trump, basically saying that Joe Biden's a crook, just like he did with Hillary Clinton.
Another pawn just coming out of the woodworks.
So he said on Rachel Maddow last night that he was aware of all my movements, he being Donald Trump.
Right.
I wouldn't do anything without the consent of Rudy Giuliani, the president. I have no reason to speak to any of these officials, the people in the Ukraine. Why would President Zelensky's inner circle or Minister Avakov or all these other people or President Poroshenko meet with me? Who am I? They were told to meet with me. Aside from Giuliani and the president, Parnas alluded that Vice President Mike Pence, Attorney General William Barr, and former National Security Advisor John Bolton were all involved in some way in the pressure campaign. He also said that John Bolton would be one of the most knowledgeable people about the episode who had not yet spoken publicly. He said Bolton 100%, he knows exactly what happened. Now, in addition to that, it's kind of been like a 1, 2, 3 punch with Donald Trump. The impeachment is starting.
Yep.
There's enough Republicans who want to call witnesses, so it's not going to be an open and shut case. We have Lev Parnas, who's indicted for conspiracy to give bad election or illegal election donations to the Republican Party. He is now spilling the beans and saying that Donald Trump was well aware that he was going to Ukraine on behalf of Rudy Giuliani, who was Donald Trump's personal attorney, to get dirt on Joe Biden, and Donald Trump knew it couldn't be done through official channels, so it had to be done through unofficial channels, so he can use that as leverage against whoever the Democratic nominee would be, which most likely would have been Joe Biden, and Donald Trump withheld funds that Ukraine needed to fight the Russians. Screw Ukraine, screw our friendship there, screw the fact that American policy and American interest is best served by Russia not taking over Ukraine. But But Donald Trump said, what's more important is that I become the president again. That's more important than whatever's in America's best interest.
Why do you think this information's coming to us now?
I think, well...
Or he's, bringing it to the public's attention now.
Well, I think it's kind of a bit orchestrated. You have to admit.
It's just all falling in a trickle effect.
Yeah, you have to admit it's a bit orchestrated in the sense that the Democrats felt stymied that Trump was not allowing anybody who worked in his inner circle to come testify.
Yep.
So William Barr wasn't able to testify. Bolton wasn't able to testify, although now he says he's willing to. And many other people from the executive branch were not willing to testify or were barred from testifying by Donald Trump. So who did the Democrats got? They got career diplomats to come and say what Trump was doing was illegal. And these career diplomats were saying this is what was happening in the Ukraine. What the Democrats never had was somebody who heard firsthand Donald Trump say, I am going to withhold this money from Ukraine so that I can get dirt on Joe Biden that is not even legitimate dirt. It's fake dirt in order to paint him as a crook the same way I painted Hillary Clinton as a crook. So nobody heard those words come out of Donald Trump's mouth except the people who work for him in the executive branch. So the Democrats have kind of been stymied in that way, although all of the evidence, but for hearing those words come out of Donald Trump, implicates Donald Trump. And that's what the Republicans are holding their hat on. They said, well, we never heard Donald Trump do anything wrong. I mean, all of Donald Trump's men have gone to jail or have been indicted or being charged or being investigated, including Rudy Giuliani.
Right.
But nobody ever heard.
But Trump didn't do it.
Right, but Trump didn't do anything wrong. So, you got to believe that the Democrats aren't idiots either. So they I'm sure, orchestrated for Lev Parnas to come out with this information on the eve of the Senate trial because they need some Republicans to pressure Mitch McConnell to have witnesses come testify who heard Donald Trump say these things. So perhaps this would pressure a lot of moderate Republicans to say, hey, we can't have an open and shut case so fast. Now, what is even more disturbing is that as part of the documents that have been released for the investigation into this guy, Lev Parnas, is the fact that he and Giuliani and many of Trump's men were basically wanted the ambassador of Ukraine out because she wasn't playing ball with Trump. She was doing the right thing by following the laws. So the evidence Parnas released includes eye-popping new details about several parts of the story pieced together during the impeachment inquiry. One exchange out of thousands of documents he provided relates to Giuliani's campaign to remove the U.S. ambassador, Marie Yovanovitch. Now remember, she was the career ambassador who testified. Now she testified that she was ousted after being targeted in what she described as a smear campaign by Donald Trump. Trump wanted her out because he wanted somebody who was basically his lackey to go do his work in
someone that would participate in his dirt.
Correct. So the texts imply that Lev Parnas and a big donor to the Republican Party, Robert F. Hyde, were basically following Yovanovitch's movements in the Ukraine. And this is what the text said. Parnas text number 1. If you want her out, they need to make contact with security forces. They know she's a political puppet. They will let me know when she's on the move. They are willing to help if we would like a price. Almost as if they were going to kill her. But they were following her.
In a text message?
Yes.
Really?
Guess you can do anything in Ukraine with money. That's what I was told. That's another text message. This is the ambassador. And by the way, that's Guy Hyde, who is a big donor. And of course, Donald Trump will say, I never heard of the guy before, but there he is in a picture. We always hear Donald Trump never heard of these people, but there he is in pictures with them.
And there's a selfie.
Right. There are, by the way, 7 pictures that I am aware of, public pictures that I am aware of Donald Trump smiling. This is Hyde. This is the guy Hyde.
Yep.
But also Donald Trump smiling next to Lev Parnas. Donald Trump says, I never met the guy. I don't know who he is. How do we have these 7 photos of him and Donald Trump together? Yeah. Right. And that's a new picture from Parnas' phone. So now the Ukraine is now starting to investigate this illegal surveillance of the U.S. ambassador. They're kind of caught in the middle of the conflict between the Democrats and the Republicans over whether Trump's pressure campaign on Ukraine justified his removal from office. Zelensky and his government, they want out of this, but they keep getting pulled back in. So now the Internal Affairs Ministry of Ukraine said in a statement released today that the country cannot ignore these illegal activities of private individuals following the U.S. ambassador, perhaps to intimidate her, perhaps to hurt her, perhaps we don't know why they were following her, kill her, kidnap her, who knows?
Right.
So these are crimes in the Ukraine committed by Americans.
Yep.
It's getting worse and worse and worse. Now, that was punch number one, which is the impeachment starting.
Yep.
Punch number two is this whole thing where Lev Parnas comes out and he says Trump knew exactly what was going on and that they're following the ambassador all over the Ukraine. We don't know what they were going to do to her, thank God.
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing, and she's fine. And now the General Accounting Office has just released their opinion on this whole entire matter. Now, the General Accounting Office is basically an impartial body that is basically, they're the accountants for the government. And they make sure that money's being spent properly and legally and everything else. So they're basically an independent watchdog of the U.S. government, but they are part of the U.S. government. They're independent of the Congress. They're independent of the president. And what they said was they concluded that what Donald Trump did by withholding this money from Ukraine, the $400 million, in order to get the dirt on Joe Biden, violated the Impoundment Control Act, a law that governs Congress's role in the federal budget process. So what they said was faithful execution of the law does not permit the president to substitute his own policy priorities to those that Congress has enacted into law. OMB withheld funds for a policy reason which is not permitted under the Impoundment Control Act. Therefore, we conclude that it was violated by Donald Trump. So we have an independent accounting office of the U.S. government saying Trump broke the law. We have Lev Parnas saying Trump knew exactly that he was sent there to get dirt on Joe Biden. We have people that were working for Donald Trump following the U.S. ambassador to the Ukraine around to God knows do what to her. And we have an impeachment trial starting, and we have a Senator, Mitch McConnell, who is the head of the Republicans, saying there's nothing here, we're gonna dismiss everything. So it was smart on the part of the Democrats to bring all this at this moment. It was orchestrated. It's very political, obviously, okay? And politics, I have to tell you, politics is a very, very dirty business.
Yeah, there's a lot of proof in that pudding.
So we'll see. What do you think is going to happen? Do you see Donald Trump staying as... I think he's going to stay as president, and I'm going to tell you why. The economy. The economy's doing well. People are happy with the economy, so they're not going to turn on Trump. If the economy was not doing well, he'd be out of office. That's my opinion. Because people are more selfish than anything else. Their own selfish, money in their pocket is more important than whether or not Donald Trump's breaking the law and being faithful to the Constitution.
Whatever directly affects anyone. So it's exactly what we're speaking about right now. My money's good. My money's fine. Let's just leave things how they are. We don't really like this guy, but my money's good.
Correct. Now, back from the dead. Let's change the subject for a second here.
No more orange, man.
No more orange, dude. All right. Pumpkin
Give him
Man.
A break.
I was calling him Pumpkin Man before. I'm like, he's like a Marvel comic villain,
He's still a pumpkin.
Right. Oh, no, it's Pumpkin Man. All right. So, but back from the dead now, because this guy never seems to get out of the news. He's more popular now, dead, than he was alive. And you know what I'm talking about?
Who's this?
Jeffrey Epstein. This man is like selling newspapers like there's no tomorrow from the grave. So now, a Dr. Michael Baden, he is one of the world's most respected forensic pathologists.
Oof.
Okay, this is like CSI New York. Well, I don't know. Is
all of it? No,
is there a New York CSI?
No, it's still
Yes,
rolling. They're probably on like season 100.
Okay, so this is like real life CSI. So he investigated the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. He has investigated the assassination of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. he has even testified in the defense of O.J. Simpson.
Oh, wow.
So this man has been in some very, very high-profile cases.
Legendary.
Right. So he has now examined all of the forensics of what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. And what he has determined is that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered.
Oh. So, oh, wow.
Yeah, so what he says is, it's in the back of the legs, this guy, Dr. Baden, says that Epstein's lower extremities were pale and not purple or bluish, which he says should have been the case had he hanged himself in August. Because if he hanged himself, there would have been no blood that made it circulated to his legs. But his legs were not blue. They were as white as the rest of his white body.
Yep.
He says his eyes.
I love all this stuff.
Jeffrey Epstein's eyes had burst capillaries after his body was found in his Manhattan jail cell, suggesting that he was a convicted pedophile.
Yeah.
Suggesting that the convicted pedophile was likely murdered through manual strangulation, and he did not hang himself. And still, of his eyes, he said, in a hanging, the arteries and the blood vessels, the veins are both clogged off, and the person becomes pale. The face becomes pale. With a manual strangulation. So what he believes is Epstein was choked to death. In a manual strangulation, there's a backup of a pressure, and the little capillaries can rupture, and they're best seen in the eye. Very unusual, especially in a prison situation, that the cause of death was changed to hanging after being deemed inconclusive.
Yep.
So now the initial death certificate was issued at the time of the autopsy, is now pending further study. They have now taken back that death certificate. In an interview on CBS's 60 Minutes earlier this month, Dr. Baden also said that the forensic evidence released so far, including autopsy, point much more to murder and strangulation than the suicide and suicidal hanging. Now, an autopsy photo, to go on, of the 66-year-old pedophile, his hyoid bone, I'm not sure what the hyoid bone is, that's at the base of his neck, I've just learned that now, showed it is broken in 3 places. And that is unheard of, according to Dr. Baden, in a suicide. So there's let's play the video, let's watch.
You think there was foul play here?
The forensic evidence released so far point much more to murder and strangulation than the suicide.
Wow.
So there's about 6 or 7 different pieces of evidence that this Dr. Baden has come out with that says it was murder. And there were so many people who wanted him dead. Prince Andrew, the Clintons, Donald John Trump,
name a few.
Donald John Trump Jr., Donald John Trump Jr.'s wife, perhaps. Who knows?
Right.
So many people wanted this man dead. So many celebrities were with him. So many famous politicians were with him. It could have been anybody.
Yeah.
And then when you say, how did the cameras go off in the jail cell at the moment he hangs himself, and how are these guards not watching him when he's on suicide watch the moment that he got killed? Da da da!
Right. This all leads. I watch a lot of Cold Case Files, a lot of SVU, a lot of Law and Order. Yeah. So now I feel like I'm invested in this case.
Julian, the TriCaster guy, said he didn't have any murder mystery sound effects. So I said, I'm going to do it myself. Da da da! What do you think?
So many hats. See, even animation and sound. Just when you guys think Uncle Brad has it all down packed, he's surprised.
I'm doing my own sound effects now.
The squad appreciates it. I know I do.
So what do you think? You think he killed himself?
Absolutely not.
You think he's suicide?
No. I think you asked me, do you think he killed himself? I said absolutely not. Not with all this evidence.
No.
All the proof is right in front of us.
If you had to take a guess, and obviously it
autopsies don't lie.
Obviously, it's an absolute guess. Okay. Who do you think wanted him killed the most?
Too many people.
Who do you
Can't narrow it down.
Who do you think would want to kill the most?
Well, he worked in finance.
Because he had a lot to. He had a lot to.
There's a lot of powerful people that he was in touch with. And just in touch with people in general. That's what he
was touching a lot of people inappropriately. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So, can I pick one? No, I can't pick one, Brad.
You cannot pick one. All right. So let's see what else is happening here. By the way, the 2020 Rock Hall inductees. Did you hear about that?
No, I hadn't.
You know what the Rock
I come
Hall...
on this show so you can tell me all these great things.
Yeah, you know what the Rock Hall of Fame is?
Yes, I'm familiar.
It's in Cleveland, Ohio, and every year they induct artists who have into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who have had tremendous careers, who are basically Hall of Famers for the rock and roll. And who they inducted this year? Whitney Houston.
Oh, well deserved.
Well deserved. Notorious B.I.G.
Oh, also very well deserved. I'm a Biggie fan.
Doobie Brothers. Do you know who they are?
No.
Okay, they're a rock band from the 60s. Yes.
Was there what? Did you like that band?
They're okay. Their most famous. They were in. I don't know. This is before your time.
Here we go.
But for those of you who grew up in the 1970s in America, you were not alive at the time.
No.
Millennial.
I don't think I was. I was even a plan.
But when I was a kid, they had a TV show called What's Happening.
What was the jam? What was the jingle?
Yeah.
Give it to us. You're already on sound today.
I don't remember what the jingle was on What's Happening, but they had, it was about, these kids who, basically growing up in L.A., and they had this one fat kid. He was Rerun, and he was going, hey, 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 Dwayne, but one time the Doobie, and they all worked in like some restaurant somewhere.
Right. And
one time the Doobie Brothers bus broke down, and they all walk into the restaurant. And the only thing I remember about the Doobie Brothers, I can't tell you what song they sing, but I remember this guy, Rerun, goes, which Doobie you be? And I just remember this to this day. I remember weird sitcoms. Which Doobie you be? Now, Jill is singing the song, the jingle, but I don't remember it. She's singing it in my ear. So, who else is in the Rock Hall of Fame? That's it. So, the other inductees. Oh, no, the other inductees, 9 Inch Nails. That they're a grunge band from the 90s, kind of like Nirvana. You know who Nirvana is, I assume.
That I do know.
All right, Depeche Mode. They're like a punk band from the 80s.
T-Rex.
And T-Rex, I don't know who T-Rex is.
Not familiar with
I'm not familiar with T-Rex. I think it's a dinosaur from the prehistoric ages. T-Rex, I'm not sure.
But he made it.
Now it says Andy Leach, who's the senior director for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, says the list speaks to how diverse rock and roll is. But serious rock and rollers are not agreeing. They're saying Whitney Houston and Notorious B.I.G. are not rock and rollers.
I was going to say, I'm surprised that they would, in the Hall of Fame, I thought it was just rock artists, but...
Right. Yeah, because Notorious B.I.G. is a rapper.
He's a rapper, right. Yes.
Whitney Houston was a pop artist.
More soul,
Soul and pop artist, right. So, now in the 50s, rock and roll included the doo-wop bands, the black R&B bands from the 60s, even country-influenced ones like the Everly Brothers. They're all in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So why not Whitney Houston? They got James Brown, Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, Diana Ross, all in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So, I feel
like that'll limit them. If they did it, there's only so many rock. Yeah,
it should be the Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
it should be the music. It should be the Music Hall of Fame. Maybe they should change it.
Rebrand.
And all genres of music influence each other.
Yeah.
So I don't know where rock and roll stops and rap begins, but and where rap stops and soul begins.
They sure had their moments of features in different categories, different genres of music that they're just rock stars for that. So toss them into the Rock Hall of Fame. Why not?
Yeah. Now, I mean, Marvin Gaye. No, who's going to argue that Marvin Gaye doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, right?
You can't.
You can't.
So throw Whitney in there. She deserves it.
Why not? All right. And finally, talking about music before we get into, we're going to get into our immigration questions in a little bit.
Everybody's fave.
They now, Spotify, you know what Spotify is, right?
Of course. Okay. I'm a millennial.
Right, okay. It has now the perfect playlist for you and your pet. Yes, believe it or not, most animals are serious music lovers. They love music, animals. So we have a clip of a chicken singing. Let's watch the chicken sing. Valerie! I don't know what I just saw there, but we just saw some animals singing.
The chickens were onto something.
Yeah, right. Now, some animals, they like to sing, some they like to dance. So now Spotify is going to help you pick out some tracks specifically for your special pet. They conducted a study and found that 71% of pet owners surveyed play music. Do you have a pet?
No, I don't.
Would you play music for your pet?
I mean, now that I'm really thinking about it, I would if I had a pet. I'm sure they'd enjoy it.
Why
didn't we come up with this, Brad?
I don't know, but I never thought. I had dogs for years. I never thought of playing music for them.
To play music? Well, this is why someone at Spotify just got a raise.
Yeah, and you want to know what? It's because I never thought of the emotional wellness of my animal dogs, that they would like music. I never thought of it. I said, they're dogs.
Right.
They're dogs, but I never thought of their emotional well-being when I'm not there, that I should have played music for them.
That's so true. I mean, they're there to support you emotionally. That's
right.
why people get pets. I mean, I've never had a pet. My parents never really liked pets.
So now this is how they generate music now for the perfect playlist. Step one is you got to go and pick your pet. All right, you can choose from a dog, a cat, an iguana, a hamster, or a bird. Those are your choices.
That's it.
The
mice don't get music.
No,
if you have a pet mouse, pet hamster.
Fish, forget it. If you have a little pony, sometimes, people want like little mini ponies.
Yeah, not a thing.
Not a thing. All right?
No playlist for the ponies.
No playlist for your pony. So then step two, now we go to step two. It says tell them about your pet. And what kind of temperament do they have? Do they like to jump up on you? Do they like to lick you? Do they bark at everybody? So you get to pick the temperament so that they can get they can get into their groove. Okay? Now you can pick relaxed, energetic, shy, friendly, and you select which trait most aligns with your little loved furry little.
All right, you who had a pet, go ahead. What would fulfill those descriptions to the pet you had to your dog?
Lazy, two lazy dogs. All right, so we would need to give him some energy.
A little more zen.
I would need to give him some dance music to get them moving. So then, step three is you add your name of your dog and your photo, or your name of your pet and your photo. And then the playlist will feature your pet's name and photo, and they keep memory forever of all the personalized songs that your pet likes. And then finally, you just listen and share with your pet. And you can go to spotify.com/pets to get all of your playlists for your pets.
When new innovations like this come up, I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
That is so ridiculous.
I could have patented it.
All right, so why don't you tell everybody to start their watch parties while I stretch and get ready to answer everybody's immigration questions.
Alrighty, Brad Squad, so now is the time that we have all been waiting for, the moment when Brad answers immigration questions. And guess what? Why not share all of this helpful information with everyone on your Facebook group? So what I am going to ask you guys to do right now is to start a watch party. But Brad, how do we start a watch party? On Facebook, you guys are going to share. And it is going to say, start a watch party. What is a watch party? Let's get everyone on your Facebook to log in. Have them share this right here so they can tune into our live stream while Brad answers all of our immigration questions. As well, on YouTube, we can share the post. So if you haven't already and you're on YouTube right now, make sure that you subscribe, press the bell to make sure that you are notified, and we can share the live stream right now, because I have a feeling that Brad is going to answer some very important questions that plenty of you guys have been waiting for. Your friends and family need to know about this. They have questions too.
And that's quick. What do you do on Instagram?
On Instagram.
Don't forget Instagram. Don't forget our friends on Instagram.
On Instagram, guys, make sure that you are following us and that you like all of our recent posts. We are live at the moment. Ask your questions there. Make sure to share our live at the moment so that they tune in right now. You can share it to all your friends,
all your followers.
Yes, you can.
You can.
Slide into their DMs because Brad is getting ready to...
Wait, I'm not ready yet. I have another public service announcement. On YouTube, there is a little thumb on the bottom of your YouTube feed right now. Right now, the thumbs up has 18. It's very sad when 123 people watch, but only 18 of you actually like it. Next quick, I am telling you right now, until we get to at least
Brad
30,
gets sad.
I'm very upset right now. Until we get to at least 35 thumbs up on YouTube, nobody's getting your immigration questions answered. You will have to beg people. Beg and beg. I will not answer one question until we get to 35 thumbs up on YouTube.
And I know we're all here for these questions to be answered. Team, let's not upset Brad. Let's turn all of those gray thumbs up into blue. You have no idea how much that supports our platform and how important this platform is and all the free information that Brad brings us. And he is not going to give us that information if we do not get those thumbs up. So let's start these watch parties. Let's start all of this sharing because we need to get those thumbs up. We're moving, Brad.
We're
You
only
said
at
at least 30.
We're only at 31 right now.
I'm at 32 on here.
Yeah, well, I'm my mouth is shut right
we
now.
have to thumbs up, guys, because he will not be answering these questions. This is what we're all here for.
Yeah, well, you know what? If that one guy didn't give me a thumbs down and gave me a thumbs up, and we'd have it 35. We got oh, we did it! Congratulations, Brad.
Team.
You see, I knew. As soon as you pressure them,
we have to do it.
You got to know their pressure points.
You know exactly how to
get it. Are you ready now?
Ready now that we're at 30 thumbs up, team. I think that we're ready to have Brad answer your immigration questions.
All right, Lorianne in Duncan, Oklahoma. Lorianne, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Brad. Thank you.
What's going on?
My question is how do you go about getting a work visa and an employer to sponsor you? Because right now, my son and I are in Oklahoma. Like, we're from Canada, and I'm a retired corrections officer, and I would like to do this down here and be here permanently.
Well, you got. Well, work visa, there's the North American Free Trade Agreement, but I don't think they have correction officers on the North American Free Trade Agreement. There are H-1B visas, but that would be for a professional specialty occupation. And a professional specialty occupation would be somebody who has a college degree or the equivalent, is working in a field related to that degree, and the minimum requirements for that job require a college degree. I believe, and I'm no expert on correction officers, but I believe you don't need a college degree as the minimum requirement to be a corrections officer. Perhaps, a private correctional facility would sponsor you somehow, but it wouldn't be as an officer. And I don't know if you have a college education or not, but perhaps maybe in a different position related to your experience and your education. We're talking work visas. Then there's work permits, which are completely different. But I think what you need right now is because there is no way in the world that I am able to, figure out your entire life in a 1.5 minute, answer on a live Facebook, YouTube, Instagram show.
Right.
So I think, in all deference to you, probably need a consultation. I could ask you a million questions, get your whole background, and then we can figure out what we can do to help. All right. So hold on one second. Hold on. All right, let's go to Renee in Levittown, Pennsylvania. Renee.
Yes.
Hi, Renee. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's going on?
My question was, if you are immigrant and you been here like 2017, are you qualified for the program that was just given to the Liberian immigrants?
If you are Liberian, you had to be here by November 20th, 2014 to qualify for the Liberian amnesty, or you have to be an unmarried son or daughter, it doesn't matter your age, and your parent qualifies for the Liberian amnesty. But if you came from Liberia in 2017, you would not qualify.
Okay, that was my question.
All right, but maybe there's other options for you. Hold on. Let's go to Jay in Trenton, New Jersey. Jay.
Hello, Brian.
Hi, Jay. How are you?
I'm okay. My first question was already answered, so I got a second question.
All right, what's your second question?
If you got a work card and it expires, and your employer has not yet elected you to leave the job and you're still working, would that affect you if you have a future immigration process?
Well, it depends what your future immigration process is. You're working out of status.
I mean, if you have a work card for the adjustment of status.
Okay, so again, it depends what your future immigration case would be. So, for example, if you're working out of status and you want to adjust through employment, unless you're 245I, you're not going to be able to. If you're working out of status and you want to adjust through marriage to a U.S. citizen, not a problem, because working out of status is not a bar to getting your green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen. So it depends what process you would be going through. Obviously, the most typical process would be, I overstayed my time, I'm marrying an American citizen. Would the fact that I'm working out of status bar me from getting a green card? And the answer would be no.
So if you
So the answer is, if you are out of status and you're working out of status, or you're working illegally, I hate to use the word illegally, but let's call it you're working illegally and then you get married in a year from now and you want to go adjust your status in a bona fide marriage, the fact that you worked illegally will not prevent you from getting a green card.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's go to Martin in Dallas, Texas. Martin.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Good to hear you.
Good to hear you. What's up?
Yeah, I have a question, but my question is this. The condition, removal of condition was denied, and I was scheduled to come to court like over 5 years ago, or 6 years ago. Then the court was scheduled for last year. I didn't get the notice to come to court. Then later on, my lawyer found out the case was, the notice was sent to a wrong address.
Right.
But now my question is, I already got married and I have a kid, a son. And my question is, do I have to file with this new marriage, or should I stick to the old one that is still pending? Because I've already divorced from the first marriage.
All right. Did your lawyer make a motion to reopen your deportation case?
Yes.
Okay. And was that case reopened?
Yes, it was reopened, and the court was scheduled for next 2 weeks.
It's next 2 weeks. So what your lawyer needs to do is file an I-130 based on a bona fide marriage to your current wife, show up to court and say, we have a new I-130 filed based on wife number 2, ask the judge to adjourn your court date pending the approval of the I-130, and then you can go back to court and have your case terminated and adjust your status. So that would be the process I would go through.
Oh, okay.
All right. So make sure you get the I-130 filed before your court.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's go to Juliet in Los Angeles, California. Juliet.
Hi, Brad.
Hi. How are you?
Fine. Please, I have some questions. My green card interview was scheduled on the 20th of December, 2019. And my attorney requested for a reschedule. And
why did your attorney ask for it to be rescheduled?
I don't know. She said she had attorney's conflict, and me and my husband kicked against it.
So your attorney has a conflict, so now you can't get a green card? That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I would have went ballistic. I would have said, screw you, attorney, I'm going myself. I want my green card. Not waiting for you to, because you're taking a vacation.
On the 5th, so I got a letter from, on the 5th, before the 20th, I got a letter from USCIS for, like, a letter showing that we rescheduled. So on the 20th, we didn't go for the interview.
You did not?
Then on the 20th, yeah, we did not.
Why?
Because we got the letter. So,
wait. This is what I know so far. You're married, you filed an adjustment, you get an interview notice, your attorney says, it doesn't really work for me. I can't make it that day. I'm going to reschedule for you. And she reschedules for you, which delays your green card, and then you get another notice in the mail and says, okay, show up. And you didn't show up. Why?
No, we got another note. We didn't get another notice. We only got a notice that she rescheduled.
Okay, and that's where you're at.
Yeah. So
what would you like me to do? What would you like me to do for you today?
Okay. I got a denial for not showing up for the interview.
Exactly. Because if you don't show up to your interview for your adjustment, unless you are physically in a hospital or completely incapacitated and are able to prove it, you generally do not get a second chance. The fact that your lawyer says, I can't make it, is not a good excuse to adjourn your interview. Your lawyer screwed you over royally. 1, you were ready for your green card. 2, made a dumb application to reschedule. There's no such thing as, my lawyer can't make it, I'm not showing up. That's not a good excuse. I've never seen that work. So when I heard that it was going to work, I was going to say, wow, I can't believe it worked. But okay, great. But generally, that's not a good excuse. My lawyer can't make it, I'm not coming. So now you're denied, and now you got to refile again. Your lawyer totally screwed you. I think you need help, and you need a good lawyer. Hold on. That's ridiculous. Victor in Columbia, South Carolina. Victor. 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 Going once for Victor.
Hey, hello. I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
He was talking.
All right. So
yeah,
what's going
sorry.
on? What's going on?
Quick question. I was adopted in 1985. I have a permanent resident card. I just found out about the Child Citizen Act of 2000. I've been convicted of a felony since the Child Citizen Act of 2000. I'm 100% sure I pretty much meet all the requirements for it.
Were you under 18 in 2000?
Yeah. I was born in 85.
You were born in 85. Okay. And were both of your parents citizens before you were 18? I assume the people who adopted you were citizens, correct?
Yes, sir. They were in the U.S. Navy. I was adopted from Italy.
Okay, fine. So then you are a U.S. citizen, regardless of your aggravated felony.
But the thing is that I'm holding a green card, so
That's right.
I just applied for a new one. I didn't know that I was already a citizen.
Right.
So
Well, unless you open your mouth, nobody would know. So what you need to do is file what's called an N-600. You're not going to file for your naturalization. You've been a citizen since the day the Child Citizenship Act passed. On that day, you became a citizen as long as you were under 18 and you were living in the legal and physical custody of your adopted U.S. citizen parents. So you need to file an N-600 for a certificate of citizenship. And what I would suggest you do is, since you have a felony, you don't want to screw it up, you hold on 1 second, all right? And let us do it for you. Let's go to Astrid in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Astrid.
Hello, Brad. My name. I have 2 questions.
Go ahead.
My first question is, I'm a graduate student, and I did not make enough money for the affidavits of support for the I-130. However, my foster mom agreed to be my joint sponsor.
Who agreed to be the joint sponsor?
My foster mom, my foster parents.
Your adopted parents? Your foster parents?
Parents.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know they make enough money, quite a lot. Am I gonna have any challenges at the U.S. Embassy for like the public charge rules?
I have no idea how much money your foster parents make. I have no idea how much money they make. A lot. Then you should be okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I haven't looked at their tax returns.
Okay.
You're married to you're sponsoring your U.S. citizen husband, I guess? Who are you sponsoring?
I'm a citizen.
Who are you sponsoring?
My husband.
Your husband. Okay. So he's gonna. Does he have a job offer? Is he gonna have medical insurance? It's a lot more than just affidavits of support now.
Okay. So my second question is,
I guess that doesn't matter to you. That went literally right over her head. She goes, "Okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I just told you he will need a job offer. He will need to have medical insurance. It goes beyond an affidavit of support from a foster parent." Because she called me up, Astrid, concerned, is my husband going to get through? And I'm saying what you're doing may or may not be enough. And she said, okay. Here's my second question. I just went right over her head. All right, let me have your second question.
Okay, thank you. So my second question is, like I said, I'm a student. I just came back and found out that I'm pregnant, and I was still on that thing called Medicaid. So what should I do?
Well, you can get Medicaid for an unborn child, and you can get Medicaid for children. It's not going to bar your husband. It's not going to be a problem. So everything you're told is different than what Uncle Brad's telling you. All right, which is the truth. Hold on 1 second. You need help. All right. We're going to get back to more calls in about 1.5 minutes. But in today's Spar and Bernstein Attorney Close-Up, immigration attorney Jonathan Aftalon talks about some of the misconceptions people have about immigration law. Let's watch.
Some of the biggest misconceptions about immigration law is people think that they cannot be helped, and they're living in fear that ICE is going to pick them up any day. Yes, the ICE rates have gone up, but not to the point where they're just going to come to everyone's house. So I want people to come in and ask for help but also not necessarily walk around the streets thinking that ICE is right behind them all the time. People who came here without papers and undocumented across the border, those people think that we also can't help them, which is not true. There are immigration laws that help people who've crossed the border. We'd be happy to meet with you to ask any questions that you have and see if we could get you any relief.
Successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. All right, Samantha, Atlanta, Georgia. Samantha.
Hi, Brad.
How are you? Good night.
How are you?
Good,
I'm
good.
good. I called a week before telling you that I went for my interview.
Right.
And I haven't got any response back, but I got a letter yesterday saying that it's a calling letter. And
It's a
the
what?
reason for my calling letter.
A cold hearing?
No, call-in letter.
A call?
Letters. There's some sort of letter.
What kind of letter?
Call-in letter.
A call-in letter.
Yes.
So you got
saying
call,
that,
you need to go for another interview?
Yes, because of and they're saying that if the reason for this interview is the I-30 / the I-485, and I must bring the evidence from upstate from.
Yeah, they don't believe it's a real marriage between you and your spouse. So they may separate you into two different rooms. You got to be prepared to prove it's a bona fide marriage. Bona fide marriage is you live together and you have a financial relationship.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
All right.
So
If you need, and by the way, people in real marriages screw this up all the time. People on the street when we do gratified marriage screw it up all the time, right?
So it happens.
It happens. Even people in real marriages sometimes screw it up. So hold on one second. Don't screw it up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All right, Josephine in the Bronx. Josephine.
Hello, Brad.
How are you, Josephine?
I'm good, you?
Good, good. What's going on?
Okay, I have a question for you. I came to the U.S. in April of 2019 on a B2 visa, but I overstayed. My boyfriend is in Alaska and we're planning on getting married, but we have fear of me traveling from New York to Alaska because I overstayed. Is there any way he can fly down to New York and get married to me?
He's in Alaska right now?
Yeah, he's in Alaska right now.
Does he have a valid passport?
Yes, he's a citizen.
Who's the citizen, you or him?
No, he's a citizen.
So why would he not be able to travel to New York to marry you?
We don't know if the New York residents will allow him because he's not a resident of New York.
Who cares? You can get married wherever you want. You can go to Las Vegas and get married, and neither of you live in Las Vegas. Get married by Elvis Presley in Las Vegas. Doesn't matter. Go to Miami, get married. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be a resident of the state to get married.
Okay, all right. And after we get married, are we able to use the marriage certificate for me to travel with him to Alaska?
You can use your valid passport to travel to Alaska. You can't use a marriage certificate to travel to Alaska. I would also suggest as soon as you get married to file an adjustment application.
Hello, I didn't get that, Brett.
You should file, as soon as you get married, file an adjustment application. That's what you really need to do. Okay? And then you're in the Bronx. Before you go to Alaska, come see me in downtown Manhattan. Hold on. All right. And we have some noise.
It was tuning into us live on Instagram.
Tuning into us live on Instagram.
Want to see what we look like on Instagram?
Hello, Instagram. We're back.
I was trying to be subtle about it, and that didn't happen.
Forrester 903 saying, welcome back. Dean White has joined us back on Instagram at Bradshaw Live. And by the way, in a few minutes, we're going to share with you our contest on Instagram at Bradshaw Live to win a free consultation. So stay tuned. All right, let's go to Eric in New York, New York. Eric.
Hi there. Hey, Uncle Brad, how are you?
How are you?
Good. So this one's going to get a little messy, but in point form, basically I've been on the artist visa here for 12 years.
What is that, the O or the P?
The O.
Okay. What kind of artist are you?
I'm an actor.
You're an actor. Okay.
Correct. So I basically applied for renewal in October of 2018.
Uh-huh.
I got an RFE, and during the RFE process, I got married.
Great.
So all is well. Filed my L-130, everything. Anyways, the interview is coming up, and currently we are getting a divorce.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Problema.
And to throw more fuel on the fire, my previous O1 lawyer who said he was going to withdraw the 01 case, and I solidified it through email. Basically said, yeah, it's no problem, I'll do it. And 4 months later, I got a letter saying my visa was denied due to abandonment. So I also have a denial on that visa.
All right. So
Because
ultimately,
he
if you get
neglected
unless you have a VAWA case for abuse, you're going to have to file for a new 01 visa. And because you have now filed the adjustment, in order to get the 01 visa, you would have to leave the United States and pick it up at your home country and come back with it.
Oh, wow.
All right, but we can help you navigate through all that.
Okay,
There's a dual intent. There's a marriage. You can remarry and fall in love with a second woman, of course.
Yeah, do you think that's more viable considering...
Are you in love with a second woman, or are you, everything's viable if there's love. If you're like, I'm just getting married to get a green card, then I don't think that's so viable.
Right. Okay.
All right. So I think you need a consultation, sir. Hold on. Let's go to Saye in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Saye.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello, Brock.
How are you?
Yeah. I have a question.
Yes.
I am a Liberian, and I was thinking of filing the amnesty for a green card. But my problem is, do I need to only file the 485, or do I need to file another form like medical?
You need a medical.
Do I need to file the medical?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I think, Saye, that if you're calling me up and asking me, do you need the medical when you file for your amnesty? I think really what you should be asking yourself is, do I need a lawyer? Okay, hold on 1 second. That's what you need, because these are simple, basic questions. And I hope he's listening, because I put him on hold already, and I shouldn't have. Let me go back to him a second. Saye, you still there?
Yes, I am.
So what I was going to say to you is, I'll tell you why you need a lawyer. Because the Liberian amnesty is for 365 days. We're already about 20 some odd days into our 365 for the Liberian amnesty.
16?
Okay, which means that when you file this paperwork and you're asking me the most basic question about medical exam, my guess is you're going to screw it up. If I had to take a bet, maybe you won't, and you get lucky and you get through. My bet is you screw it up. And this is the problem for all Liberians with Liberian amnesty when you screw it up. The law's only good for 365 days. When you screw it up, you won't have a second chance to file again. And now you lost out on everything.
Okay.
All right? Which is why I'm saying I think you need a lawyer. Hold on. All right, let's go to Lola in Cheverly, Maryland. Lola.
Hi, Brett.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So my question is, I got married September 2017.
Yes.
And we called in for an interview September 2018.
Great.
And my husband passed away December 2018.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is that. But I sent in the birth certificate March.
Okay, so what happens is your adjustment automatically turns into a widow petition.
Okay. So do I have to file I-360 or just leave it at that?
Just bring the death certificate. It's an automatic conversion under the law. Bring the death certificate. I assume that you're listed as the surviving spouse on the death certificate, and you bring proof that it was a bona fide marriage, and it just converts automatically.
Okay, so what do you mean by proof? Like
proof of a bona fide marriage, proof you lived together and had a financial relationship.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Morris in Wilmington, Delaware. Morris.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm a U.S. citizen, but my son is out of the U.S. right now. For some reason, he overstayed, but he's a minor. Overstayed. He went out with a green card.
How old is he now?
He's 16.
Okay, tell him to come back now. He's fine.
It's okay, but the green card expires. So can he come back with an expired green card?
No, he cannot come back. He would need to go to the embassy and get a new green card, and then come back.
A new
Green
green card?
You would go to the embassy with an adult and say, my green card expired. Can you put a temporary stamp in my passport? And you should come back immediately.
It was that simple because I went there and the lady there behind the window was, the person I spoke to was doing me a whole dance around, and I had to come back here. And then when the immigration got my paper,
then let me speak to the embassy. But it's that simple. He's a minor, so he can't have the intention of abandoning his permanent residence as a minor. So he just needs a temporary stamp in his passport.
Yeah, I went to the embassy, and then the American Citizen Day, and
I don't know. I can't tell you what was said at the embassy. Maybe they gave you wrong advice. Maybe they're violating your son's rights. I have no idea. Maybe you didn't speak up properly. I have no idea. All I can tell you is what the law says. What the law says is you cannot abandon your permanent residence as a minor because you don't have the intent to do so. You don't control your life as a 16-year-old. Somebody else controls your life as a 16-year-old, so therefore it can't be held against you that you lived in another country even though you had a green card all these years. So the embassy has to give them a stamp. And if they're not doing it, then contact me and we'll call the embassy on your behalf.
Should I again? If they're not doing it, what should I do?
Call me. Hold on. That's what you should do. I'm not going to repeat it 3 times.
Call Uncle Brad.
Call
when
Uncle
in
Brad.
doubt, call
That's
Uncle
right.
Brad.
Now, by the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions answered, we're going to have a social media rounds in a little bit. But if you don't even get your immigration questions answered on your social media round, you could always follow me on @RealBradBernstein on Instagram, because that's usually where I'm at. And if I know you, you seem to look familiar to me, you seem to have a familiar name to me, you can drop me a DM. I'll try to answer your question as best as I can. I may not answer immediately, but I can tell you that everybody who drops a DM to me does get a response eventually within a day or 2 or 3 days. Depends on how busy I am. And if I can help you, I'm just going to give you the answer. And lots of people have got lots of answers. If I can't help you, I'm going to tell you, have a consultation with me because, it's a lot. It's not a yes/no question.
And what better way to get a consultation with you, Brad, than for free?
Correct. For free.
Than for free.
Are you making up your own English word? For free.
I'm just trying to get this quick. I'm just trying to keep up with my name here.
So you can go also. We have 2 Instagram accounts. You got @RealBradBernstein. You can follow me there and drop me a DM, and I'll try to answer your questions as I said. And when you're at @RealBradBernstein, it always makes me feel good if you like something somewhere, right? Right? It always makes somebody feel good when they like a picture.
Just a double tap.
Just a
That's
double
all
tap.
it takes.
Right. Just send me some love.
But
you can also go
the official Instagram of this screen right here at Bradshaw Live.
Bradshaw Live, and when you go to @Bradshaw Live, you can go to is it the social media check-in? No, wait, I got the wrong one. It's the call is the librarian. I'm just looking for the one that says it. You got to go through and search for it. Which is the picture of it? Social media check-in.
Cutting your
taxes. The blue right top. There we go. Okay, because every day it changes positions. Okay,
yeah.
So you got to search for it. It's not easy. Okay,
so it has to be a challenge. You think giving these consultations for free is easy, Uncle Brad?
No, it's Bradshaw Challenge. So this is the Bradshaw Challenge. At the present time, in the top right corner of our Bradshaw Live Instagram page, you will see a blue photo of me, and it says, "How can I help someone get out of detention? What evidence do I need for filing a SIJ?" And then you tap on it, and then the question becomes, do all librarians in the United States qualify for citizenship? Okay, it is one of the social media check-ins. It's a blue picture with me in my suit with a telephone.
Yeah, right in front. So that'll be the
colors,
cue.
Right?
That'll be the cue. Look at our team.
It's callers, and it is blue, being told in my ear. I see it's blue. So anyway, what you need to do is follow @Bradshaw Live on Instagram. You need to like that post and tag 5 people in that post.
Yep.
You have to do it by next Wednesday. Because on Hump Day, every Wednesday, we're going to pull out of our machine somebody who follows my exact instructions.
Yep.
Like the questions where I ask @Bradshaw Live, the blue right-hand corner post about librarian citizenship.
Yep, that'll be the one for this week.
Correct. Tag 5 people, like that post, follow Bradshaw Live. You're entered in our machine to get a free consultation with me. It's a $200 value, worth absolutely to you for free.
For free.
And by the way, that was the worst explanation I've ever given, ever in my entire life. I even confused myself how to enter my own contest.
The squad is smart.
So can you please explain it to them one more time? Because I think I've confused myself how to enter my own contest.
Which, that picture of you in that suit is one of my favorite pictures of
Thank
you. It's a great headshot.
Okay.
So what we're looking out for, team, is always Brad's best headshot, in my opinion, in a blue box, because the posts will shift as we go posting, because our team, social media team, is rocking it. So we're always looking out, particularly this week, you're looking out for Brad's blue post with his headshot. And the topic is about our Librarian folks, the Librarian amnesty.
Correct.
So you have to make sure that you like that post. First things first, you have to be following Brad's show live. We have to like the post. And we all know how much we love to share on this show, because we shouldn't be selfish and keep all this information to ourselves. But we have to tag 5 friends on Instagram. Those 3 things. We have to follow, like our blue social media posts, and make sure to tag 5 friends. Share this wealthy information. And that will automatically enter you to win a free consultation with Brad.
And Nesquik, you have anything to promote for yourself before we get to our next section?
Since we're already on Instagram, make sure that you follow me as well on Instagram at Vanessa.ContrerasTV.
All right. So earlier this week, I spoke with Spar and Bernstein's tax attorney, Carmela Walrond, about tips for people filing taxes as individuals. Today, Carmela joins me to discuss important tax tips for people filing as a business. Let's watch. Which means tax season is right around the corner. Most people cringe when they think about tax season, but if you are prepared with the correct guidance, there is no reason to fear. With me to break down what business owners need to do while preparing to file their taxes by April 15th is Spar and Bernstein's tax attorney, Carmela Walrond, tax attorney extraordinaire, making tax sexy again in another edition of Cutting Your Taxes with Carmela. Welcome.
Thank you.
What advice do you have for business owners as they prepare their tax information?
Sure. First thing is that under the new tax law, Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, people who are pass-through entities, you can save 20% of your business income.
What do you mean by pass-through entities?
Okay, sure.
Because that's woo! That goes woo right over my head.
All right, so people who are self-employed, LLC, sole proprietorships, or S corporation, you could get a 20% reduction in your business income.
But that's only in certain businesses. Not all businesses qualify.
Right. If you have a corporation, you have a flat tax of 21%.
So when you're talking about sole proprietors, what if you're not a LLC or you're an S corp, you're just Jane and I have a business?
Yes, you can still get that deduction.
Is it important to have a business bank account? Because I know a lot of people are self-employed and they just go do their thing and they take their money and they just put it into their bank account. What's up with that?
Okay, I strongly recommend to have a separate bank account for your business expenses. Most importantly, in the cases if you get audited by the IRS, you won't be able to claim those expenses on your personal bank statement if they're stated on there.
It's too messy.
Right.
Okay, you don't mix your meat and your potatoes.
Correct.
Your business income goes into a business account and then you can pay your business expenses through that account, and then what's left over you could transfer to your personal account.
Correct. And also with the new tax law, if you have a corporation, I could change the entity classification to an S corp or LLC.
What would you generally suggest, the LLC or S, or it depends on the situation?
Depends on the situation, but as long as it's a pass-through entity, so you qualify for that business deduction.
Now, for our viewers in New York and New Jersey, a lot of people live in New York, work in Jersey, or vice versa. Does it really matter whether you register your business in New York or New Jersey? Does it make a big difference?
No, you can register your business anywhere in New York or New Jersey.
When you have a business, you are declaring your income. Yes. And a lot of people, I assume, come to you and you're like, well, do you get a W-2? Do you get a 1099? What's the difference? And then how would you treat them differently?
Sure. Cases where you're receiving a 1099, you're responsible for the taxes. So what I do is I help calculate estimated tax payments for that person on a quarterly basis.
Why is it important for the employer to pay their estimated estimated taxes on a quarterly basis, why don't they just pay at the end of the year?
Well, the reason why I don't encourage doing that is they end up have to pay the taxes at the end of the year, and it could be thousands of dollars.
So there's an extra expense by waiting to the end of the year to pay your taxes versus if you're a business owner or a 1099 employee, or you're getting paid under the table and you want to file your taxes, you are much better off tax-wise if you can budget yourself and pay quarterly. Ultimately, you'll pay less than if you wait till the end of the year, which is always why people who are not W-2 employees should have Carmela with them all year round. Is that correct?
And I have many of my clients in which I pay the quarterly tax payments on their behalf. So then when they file their taxes, they owe less money because they pay the estimated tax payment.
Tell us about a client who you save lots of money on their business tax liability by following your advice.
Sure. I had a client that owed about $100,000 in payroll taxes, and I got a settlement for him.
What do you mean by payroll taxes? What does that mean?
There was the quarterly tax payments that if someone has employees for their...
So you have to pay a tax as a business owner on the salaries that you pay your employees.
Yes.
And that gets paid on a quarterly basis.
Yes.
And that's paid to the federal government or the state?
Federal and state.
And he didn't pay or she didn't pay this taxes?
Yes.
And now who came to this person for the $100,000? The federal government said, okay, you owe this $100,000. We're going to basically, they would shut down your business.
Yes.
So what did you do?
So I filed an offer and compromise application. I got a settlement for him for the $15,000, but I went a step further.
$15,000?
Yes. But then I went a step further by telling him that...
By the way, the guy owed $100,000, and by the time Carmela was done, it was $15,000. To me, that's very sexy. But now we're going to make it really, really sexy.
Yeah. I also arranged with him to have a payroll company to have the taxes paid automatically every quarter.
So he never ran into this problem again?
So that's another thing that I do. I advise my clients so they don't have this issue going forward.
You should always be with a payroll company if you have employees, and they will deal with everything.
Yeah.
This is what makes you sexy in tax. When you save people money. When I say when Carmela's bringing sexy back to tax, you owe money, you want to save money, you want to make your tax return sexy, Carmela's your lady. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Brad.
All right. All right. Making tax sexy, that Carmela Walrond.
It brought sexy back with the tax season.
Exactly. I've never met anybody make tax sexy before. She does.
Carmela got it down
Carmela's got it packed, exactly. All right. Let's make social media check-in sexy. Julian, the TriCaster guy. Can we make social media check-in sexy?
I mean, after that, I have big shoes to fill. Let's see how we can do that. Here we go, Brad. So, first question is coming from an Instagram DM. I'm about to travel overseas to work, but I'll need to pass through the U.S. I have been denied a visitor's visa before for someone suggested I use a transit visa. However, I would like to spend a few days to meet family and friends and do some shopping. How long does a transit visa allow me to stay in the U.S.?
About 24 hours or less, basically overnight. I don't think you're going to be able to transit and come visit and shop. But if you can, I like to shop too. Take me. Right?
Next one. Yeah. I'm having, they're a little worried. I sent my citizenship application last March. Now I received an interview for next month, but I had two DWIs after sending my application. First, one determined traffic infraction, no conviction. Second one, I am still going to court. What do you suggest for me? I am
traffic
not convicted
violation? These are all
any crime.
These sounds like all traffic violations.
2 DUIs.
2 DUIs. What state is this? We don't know.
Magic 8 Ball.
Well, generally speaking, and I'm talking in generalities because I don't know exactly what's going on in your particular case, but generally speaking, I've said this before, DUI is not a inadmissible or deportable offense. DWI is. There's a difference in driving under the influence versus driving while intoxicated. Driving while intoxicated is obviously a higher offense. It's either because you have multiple DUIs or it's because you were so intoxicated you were slumped over the wheel or something. So, but it depends state by state. So if you're found guilty of DUI, and I'm talking about generalities because I need to see your specific state and see exactly what you're found guilty of. But in general, DUI is okay, DWI is not. Now, recently, the U.S. attorney, I call him Porky, most people call him William Barr, he came down with a decision because he can overrule Board of Immigration Appeals as the head U.S. attorney in the United States at the Department of Justice, and he said DUI, even though not inadmissible or deportable, is bad moral character. So if you have a DUI, you would not generally now under this Porky rule, you would not be able to do your citizenship.
Oh wow!
Or you would, or it would certainly be harder to become a citizen with a DUI.
A problem. Yeah. So there's that. Alrighty. For my I-485 application, I interviewed in April of 2018 and just got another letter saying I am to appear for an initial interview. Is this a Stoke interview? What should I expect? I'm scheduled for the interview on the 13th of February.
Yeah, I think she called on the phone. When you get one interview, it's generally not a Stokes unless you're going back with the same spouse for a second time. Generally, when you get called in for a second interview, you're getting separated. That's the general rule.
Alrighty. King TV asks, I am a green card holder. I had a possession of drugs, paraphernalia, and was paraphernalia.
Yes.
And I was dismissed. And would it affect my citizenship in 5 years?
As long as it was just paraphernalia and it was a one-time offense, you've never been arrested for anything else, I think you're entitled to a bad day, and it doesn't make you a bad person.
Okay, Tiger Gaming asks, my friend accidentally claimed to be a U.S. citizen, but he fixed that. Would this create any problems of naturalization process?
Yes, because you don't accidentally claim to be a U.S. citizen.
I was going to ask, how does that happen?
It's not an accident. Okay, so yeah, if you make a false claim to U.S. citizenship for a benefit, it's a big problem. You should go see a lawyer.
Alrighty, Giovanna Plummer asks, how can a naturalized U.S. citizen lose their citizenship?
You committed fraud in the naturalization process. You really, the only time I've ever seen cases are people who are serious aggravated felonies and lied about it and slipped through the cracks and became a citizen. I've seen those people get denaturalized. I've also seen Nazis get denaturalized.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, you got to have some serious offenses and lied about it to get denaturalized.
Oh, there's that. Vernal Chambers asks, can I petition for my mom and my brothers and sisters? We have separated fathers. If I can they come with her?
No, you would be filing for your mother. That's one application. You would be filing for each brother and sister separately as separate applications, as long as you share the same mother or you share the same father and can prove that you had a relationship with that particular father, then they qualify as a brother-sister. They would not come the same time. They would come differently because a brother-sister takes about 12 to 15 years. Filing for a mother's about a year and a half. If these children are under 21 and 10, 12, 14, 15 years old, the faster way is file for mom, let mom come up, and then turn around and file for her kids.
How many people can a U.S. citizen petition for? This is just me now.
Every family member that you have that you qualifies as a family member, you can file for, as long as you have affidavits of support for them.
Nikki Williams asks, if you got arrested about 5 to 6 years ago and it was a misdemeanor and you got married, can you sponsor your spouse who's in Jamaica?
Yeah, as long as it wasn't for child sexual abuse. When the only time U.S. citizens can sponsor family members is when it has to do with sexual abuse or abuse of a minor, because then the Child Abuse Act comes into effect. And what was the name of the kid who they named it after? I forgot all of a sudden now. But the child abuse case comes into effect, and you need a waiver to prove that Adam Walsh. You need a waiver to prove that that you're not in danger of being with this sex offender. Problem becomes that you have to show beyond a reasonable doubt, and there's no way in the world that you would ever be able to prove that. Even if you go to a psychologist can't say, well, I can't tell you 100% that this person's going to be safe. So Adam Walsh waivers become very, very difficult, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen. But outside of that, you could be a murderer, you could be a convicted of drug sale, trafficking. As long as you did the time, you can file for your spouse.
Well, Sarah Johnson asks, is it better for a U.S. citizen daughter to file for her siblings who are in the U.S. and below 21 years old, or should I, the mother, wait for her to petition for me and then file for my children? This is very similar to
I think it would be faster for you to get a green card and turn around and file for your children.
Perfect. Anne Marie asks, Hi, Brad. You were just speaking to someone wanting to have a nanny from Jamaica. You said, yes, it takes 2 years.
That was yesterday.
Can employers in the U.S. sponsor an immigrant that's undocumented?
They can, but the problem becomes, how do they ultimately get their green card? Are they eligible for 245I, being grandfathered, meaning that they had something filed before April 30th, 2001? Can they get a provisional waiver to go home and come back? So not everyone out of status can get sponsored by an employer, because you have to either be 245I or be eligible for the provisional waiver. Other than that, you're getting sponsored but nowhere to pick up your green card.
Noted. Aku Aki asks, can my spouse submit I-130 petition week or two after I applied for the I-539B1 extension?
No, because that would be a misrepresentation. You can't say in one application, I'm coming here to visit, and then 2 weeks later have your spouse file for your green card. You're either visiting or getting a green card. Right. So if you filed the I-539 extension, you got to wait how many days? Nesquik, would you think? I've said it a million times.
Pop quiz.
Pop quiz, Nesquik.
I want to say 15 days.
Wrong. It's 90 days you got to wait.
Almost said 30.
Yes.
Still would have been wrong.
Still would have been wrong.
Zanique Fraser asks, if I apply for the VAWA and do not show up to testify in trial, would that deny my application?
Well, certainly it's not helping.
I mean, I would have.
It's not helping.
That didn't sound like it would help.
It's not going to help.
And Samantha Murara asks, hi, in case of divorce, the immigrant can be sitting on the couch and the sponsorship has to support her till she finds a job. What are the real sponsorship obligations?
The sponsorship obligations are to support the person 125% above the poverty level for 10 years or until they become a citizen.
Wow. Well, Tammy King asks, I filed for my husband in October of 2019. We received a yellow courtesy letter saying we have not done the medical. Does that mean all paperwork is good, or we just need the interview?
All the paperwork's good. Just bring the medical to the interview.
Alrighty. Tamika Walker asks, I would like to know if you're married and divorced.
Yes, I am married and now divorced. That is very true. That is a true statement. I was married and now. I thought you were asking me my question. I thought you were just asking a personal question to Brad. I just want to know, Brad, were you ever married and divorced? The answer is yes.
I would like to know if you are married and then divorced, I assume.
She's asking for herself. I thought she was asking for me.
It's about you, Brad, but this is not about you, Brad.
So, such an ego, this Brad Bernstein always thinks all the questions are about him.
Sheesh, get it together, Brad. Putting any paperwork is considered not married at all?
No, you are married and divorced.
Yeah, that's what I would like to know. If you are married and divorced before putting any paperwork, is it considered not married at all?
No, you are married and divorced. You went through it. You can't say, I was never married.
Is that considered not married at all?
You were never not married at all. You are single and divorced. Because on every immigration application for family-based, they're always asking, tell me about your prior spouses.
I want to give this question the benefit of the doubt, and I am understanding that they were once married, now they're divorced before they filed paperwork. Should they even mention that they were married at all? In case I'm reading the question wrong.
Who's they? I don't even understand that.
Tamika Walker is married. She's divorced before putting in paperwork. Is that considered not married at all?
No,
just in case I'm asking it wrong.
It's considered you were married and divorced. When you were never married at all means you were never married at all.
I'm the messenger. I'm making sure no one shoots the messenger, okay? Alrighty, and next one is, my wife is immigrating to the U.S. Our 3-year-old U.S. citizen son is coming with her to the U.S. for the first time. For DS-260 applicant children section purposes, is our son immigrating or not?
Immigrating.
Alrighty, last one, Nikki Williams. If you got arrested over 5 years, can you sponsor a spouse? The case was dropped as a misdemeanor and 6 months probation and haven't been arrested since.
Rewind about 5 minutes ago. I gave a whole explanation about Adam Walsh and sexual abuse and everything else.
As long as it's not a sex case,
correct.
You're good.
You're good. So, meanwhile, I had a chance to interview a lady by the name of Neha Mahajan. She hosts and produces Center Stage, a popular talk show that airs on TV Asia Network. Now, this Indian-born married mother of two is on the H-4 EAD program. So her husband is on an H-1B. She gets an H-4 as an accompanying spouse, and an H-4 accompanying spouse gets a work permit. And this allows, obviously, the spouses of H-1B guest tech workers to hold jobs legally in the United States. The Trump administration has announced that the H-4 EAD program is going to be canceled, and that, of course, is now being challenged in court. Neha joined me to discuss what the cancellation of the H-4 Employment Authorization Document Program would mean for her and many like her. Let's watch. Neha Mahajan was born in India and moved to the United States 10 years ago. She hosts and produced Center Stage, a successful and popular talk show on TV Asia that is mainly geared to an audience of Indian expats like herself. The married mother of two is on an H-4 visa. She has an employment document attached to her H-4 visa, and it allows her to work legally in the United States as the spouse of someone who is on an H-1B visa. The H-1B visa is the professional working visa. She has now found herself in a position as an immigration advocate since the Trump administration announced that the H-4 work permits are going to be canceled soon. Neha joins me today to discuss her immigration story, her career, and what the cancellation of the work permit through her H-4 visa would mean for her. Welcome, Neha. How you doing? Thanks for coming on Bradshaw Live.
Hi, Brad. Thank you so much for having me over.
Tell me about your show.
I am a host and producer for TV Asia's Center Stage. It's a talk show. It's a debate show. We talk about issues that are pertinent to the South Asian community here in the U.S. And it's not just geared at the expats, but also, people who left India or, Southeast Asia years ago and have settled here into the U.S., now call U.S. their home.
Where would I find TV Asia?
On your cable network, just call them up.
Tell me some of the more interesting topics you've talked about recently.
Oh, LGBTQ. That is something that gets shoved under the rug, irrespective. I mean, even with the mainstream America, you see that's not a topic most people are comfortable talking about, right? South Asians are typically a little conservative. They don't want to talk about these issues so much. So yes, that's one. Domestic violence was another one.
How is domestic violence treated in India?
There are cultural differences, whether you're in the US or in India, but human life is human life, and they both hold value, whether in India or in the US.
When you pick a topic that's controversial, what is the reaction that you get?
People's jaws drop after watching my show. That's what happens. Because we churn the discussion in such a way that those topics are not typically brought about. When you're sitting on a dining table and watching my show, this is not the topic that you would have ever heard of.
So tell me a little bit about your life before you came to the United States.
I was born and raised in New Delhi. My lifestyle was pretty similar to what I have right now here. My husband's a software developer. We were in the UK before coming to the US. We didn't come here looking for a job.
Right.
My husband's employer found his skill sets valuable enough. So he was just moved from India operations to US operations, yes.
And they brought him here on an H-1B.
That's right.
What were the pros and cons of coming and not coming?
There weren't much information about the H-4 visa holders available online back then. It's 10 years ago. There was a lot of information available on what you could do on an H-1B visa, what the policies are like. But except for the USCIS's website, there wasn't much available on how the H-4 visa restricts a spouse of H-1B visa.
Up until 2015, when Obama changed the law, all you can do is just be here like a tourist.
Not every H-1B visa holder's spouse gets the work authorization.
Correct.
It's only when you are legally on the path approved by Department of Labor and USCIS.
Right. You have an you have an I-140 approved, and you're on a waiting list. Absolutely.
Husband's company applied for the green card, and it got approved. It was only then that I got my H-4 EAD in 2015, and it was not as if overnight Obama administration just decided to hand over the H-4 EAD.
And you've been here since what, the mid 2000s?
2008.
2008. So you were here 7 years without a job, staying at home,
That's right?
What did you do to keep yourself busy?
Became an activist.
Right. Activists don't get paid.
Right. Activists don't get paid. See, the whole problem is there's so much lack of information around this issue. People don't know.
So when you were an activist, tell me some of the things you did.
I started talking about the H-4 visa. They were like, oh, you speak good English and you have such good communication skills. How is it that you cannot get a job? And it was very hard for me to explain it to them that we came here legally and I cannot get a job.
Was there ever discussion about an intra-company transferee visa? Because then that would have given you a work permit right away.
These were the decisions that were made by the company.
Right, so you had
The employees are typically not involved, as you would know. The employees are typically not involved in these decisions.
Correct. It's either this is your visa, this is what you get. Maybe perhaps if the employees who are getting the visa were able to speak up and ask questions, maybe in retrospect should have got an intra-company transferee visa, you would have got a work permit right away. rather than suffering for 7 years.
Absolutely, but that was probably not a choice given to us,
Right.
or offered to us, or for the lack of information.
I'll tell you why a lot of times they don't want to do the intra-company transferee visa, because then you wouldn't be tied. You wouldn't be tied to them as long as you are on an H-1B and a labor
That's right.
cert. Because if you got transferred as a manager or as an executive, you can immediately turn around and self-petition yourself for your green cards.
That's right.
Versus on the H-1B doing a labor certification, waiting for that to go pending, and then on a long waiting list. And now a lot of people who are watching right now say, what do you mean the visa waiting list? There's a lot of people who call my show all the time and say, I'm sponsoring, my mother's sponsoring me, how long will I have to wait? It's 7-8 years. It's the same, perhaps even 7-8 years for people from India. Waiting.
It's actually right now, Cato Institute did a research earlier this year, and the projection is 150 year for a person of Indian origin with advanced degree.
150 years.
That's right.
Wow, I never saw that. But if that is the case, then you guys got to figure out another way to get a green card. That sounds quite absurd.
It is absurd. I mean, imagine a century-long wait.
But the reality is, and I'm not doubting what you're saying, but I'm going to play devil's advocate with that number. Okay, they don't know how many people on the waiting list are going to give up, be denied.
Agreed.
How many? Now, every time you have a child and a spouse, that they add to the waiting list. So it is an absolute guess. And the only thing that anyone could tell you for sure is this is the waiting time right now.
The USCIS came up with the number of people actually stuck in the green card backlog. It's 336,000 plus people from India.
In total, it's about 2.5 million.
Right, and only primary applicants.
So you know what Donald Trump is saying through USCIS by taking your work permit away? You know what he's saying, really? He's saying Indians go home. That's what he's saying, because he's going to make it more difficult for you to live here, especially if it takes 150 years to get a green card.
Well, that's what's happening. You have to keep renewing your visa.
And your H-1B, right.
Exactly. Every 3 years until you really get the green card in hand, right? And what's happening is I see a lot of people around me right now, even after having lived here 15 years with the approved green card petitions, their visa extensions are getting denied.
What you should be doing is you should be going to your employer saying, we're going to move back and work, and I'm going to work remotely from London for a year.
A lot of people are doing that already.
And then bring me back as an intra-company transferee, not on an L visa, but directly as a green card and get your green card. Because I don't know why they did an H-1B, but I presume that people who can do L visas, who end up on H-1Bs, it's done because the company wants to hold you longer, kind of like...
Well, yes, it is. And I'm sorry to use such a harsh term, but this is modern day slavery. This is indentured servitude, because what happens is till the time a person gets the green card in hand, they are tied to that one company. I mean, it's easier on paper that you can change. There are laws in effect that help you change companies, but you know how the current rhetoric is.
It is not easy to change companies. I wouldn't use that term because indentured servants or slaves, actually, you couldn't leave your employment. You're free to leave.
Yes.
Indentured servitude is you have to pay off a debt, which is not what you're doing. But yes, in a way, you are tied to your employer. So I understand how you feel, but to use those words, I think is incorrect.
All right. So no promotion, no pay raise until the time you get your.
I'm not saying. I'm not defending it, by the way. I just think when you use those words, it's very incendiary, and it's not really what's happening.
I understand, but think of it. For people who are stuck in the green card backlog, they are unable to change an employer. They're unable to move to a different company if they feel that they're getting harassed at work. They cannot come up and speak. If women are getting harassed at work, they cannot come up and speak.
They can switch, except you need a new employer to sponsor you, and need a new employer to do a labor cert, and you would get your existing priority date.
Yes.
But it's difficult to find employers to do it. Absolutely. And you are not as free in the labor market as somebody who has a green card or as a U.S. citizen to go and get paid in an open market what you're worth.
I know of people who've graduated out of Ivy League schools here in the U.S. who've done their masters and have lived and worked here on an H-1B visa for the past 10 years. Their H-1 transfers got denied. Even after approval, they wanted to switch employers.
Depends on their situation, their lawyer, so you can't really say that. Let's go back to your show. Did you talk about Trump wanting to take back the work permits for the spouses of Indians and Chinese who are on the waiting list?
I did, and I also did talk about the green card backlog in detail and how the entire issue is actually, if there were no green card backlog, there were no need for an H-4EAD in first place. If you come to think of it, if people from India, China, and Philippines were treated fairly as those born in other countries, and they would have had their green cards and work permits within first few months.
The purpose of the law is to diversify who's coming to America. I don't remember the exact number, but I believe the maximum per country is 4%. There has been a lot of talk by Democrats to change that and say, whatever country you come from, that's the country you come from. Everybody's on the same waiting list. It hasn't happened yet. I actually agree with you that there shouldn't be country limits. It should be worldwide limits, whatever the worldwide limit is.
It should be on the basis of skills, because
that's a different. One second, that's a different situation, okay? Because then now you're agreeing with Donald Trump because he wants to make it on a skills-based. I actually disagree with that. I believe there should be family unity. There should be situations where people who are escaping violence should be able to get a green card. There should be situations where people who get married, people get reunited with their mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and keeping families together. People who are the victims of crimes, people who are trafficked into America. Right. There's all sorts of reasons. People who invest money in a business. So there's all sorts of reasons why somebody should deserve to get to live in America.
Absolutely. Okay. I agree. You have the asylum visa and you have the diversity visa and you have all sorts of other visas to get the green card, to put you on the path to green card, right? I am talking only under the H-1B category. When people are brought in on the basis of their skills, why are they then judged on the basis of their country of birth? That's my question.
Because they wanted to diversify it. These are laws that were written November 1990.
That's right.
Okay, so you're going back almost 30 years on laws. Now, yes. What did America look like in November 1990? What does America look like today? The internet didn't even exist.
Global economics have changed.
Right. The internet didn't exist. So, obviously the laws need to change, but what Donald Trump is doing is actually making it worse, not better.
And you know what? There are senators like Senator Orrin Hatch, Tom Cotton, and Kevin Yoder that brought in amazing bills.
Tom Cotton hates immigrants, so I don't know what amazing bill you're talking about, but he's
you should
No. He's one of the worst senators ever for immigration. He's disgusting, actually. Maybe for you it was great, okay? But generally he's one of the worst senators. He's so anti-immigrant. So I don't even think that you should go praise him because he shouldn't be praised. He's a terrible senator.
I'm just saying that these were some of the senators who actually thought that there needs to be a change. Kevin Yoder's bill, HR 392, it has probably the highest number of co-sponsors in the history of bills.
All of these bills that you're referencing to is put everybody on a merit system. And that's not what America is about.
I am only talking about the high-skilled category. I'm not talking about any other category here. I'm only representing the highly skilled category.
So you obviously are very passionate about this and you are on your show. And when you're talking about immigration, are people agreeing with you?
What I do outside of my show is my thing. What I do on the show, I'm completely detached.
But now I understand we have a clip of you talking immigration. Let's watch.
Sitting in the most developed nation in the entire world, where women, because majority of H-4 visa holders are women, being denied this basic right, asking them to stay in the four walls of the house.
Go back to India. All right, so that seemed like you gave an opinion there.
I was not the moderator there.
I see.
I was invited as a panelist to that show.
I see. So what do you think is going to happen?
I am hoping that even if they do go ahead and resign it, they're going to put something in place.
All right, I hope so.
Or they're going to be litigations. I'm sure companies and, immigration firms like you will support us. There will be people coming out. There'll be an outcry.
Whenever there's a regulation change that has a major effect like this, there'll be a lot of litigation. There'll be judges who stop it right in its tracks until it goes all the way up the chain of command of appeals. It's going to be years and years and years. With that said, I always like to end our interview on a high note. Tell me about your American dreams.
I think we're pretty much living our American dream apart from the immigration mess that we are in.
Yes, that's true.
This is our home now.
That is true.
The day we landed here in the U.S., we had given up everything that was in India. because this is where we wanted to live. That's why we made the choice. My husband's employer, they invited us to come and work here. This became our home. My kids know of no other country.
Where can people watch your show?
I have a Facebook page at the rate Real Neha Mahajan. And again, on TV Asia's Facebook page, TV Asia channel on Facebook, and on Twitter at TV Asia Network.
All right, Neha Mahajan, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Brad. It was so lovely to talk
Thank
to
you.
you.
I'm still sweating watching me in that interview.
It was nice to see you smile at the end.
Oh my God, chairs were flying everywhere. I thought we were gonna.
She was ready to catch them,
I thought we were gonna jump through the monitor and go, ah!
You kept your cool, Brad.
Yeah, all right.
Kept your cool.
All right, Julia, let's put 1.5 minutes on the clock. We're going to do our speed round. I want you to know, this quick, Jonathan and I blew up the studio all
right,
week.
well, not on my watch.
We have not yet this week made it through a speed round.
I haven't been here. That's why I didn't make it.
All right, the studio blew up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It was a disaster. 1.5 minutes, 11 questions on Nesquik's first word.
What is next after DS-260 is submitted?
You wait to have the case transferred to the U.S. Embassy for a visa appointment.
What supporting documents do I need to send to 3 sisters in F4 category to take to their visa interview?
Just copies of everything you submitted.
How long does it take to receive CBP FOIA from the government?
About 3 to 4 months.
Do I need to withdraw my case before filing for VAWA?
Withdraw what case? Your adjustment marriage case? I guess so, yeah.
If you put in your citizenship paper and it is denied, what are the reasons?
You can't speak English, you're a bad moral character, you're a deportable alien, you haven't paid your taxes, you owe child support, you don't want to bear arms. Keep going.
Great. Can a green card sponsor live in a low-income house?
No, not if they want to sponsor their family member.
All right, I was here on a B2 visa. Does it mean that I will be put into removal if I don't leave? They applied for an H3 visa, which was denied.
Yes, you're out of status.
Does applying for Medicaid for a son affect my citizenship application?
No.
Someone is applying for a VAWA while he's an I-130, I-485 application and is still pending to call for an interview.
So keep the VAWA case pending, and when you get the interview, show the receipt for the VAWA.
What document should I bring to my marriage-based green card interview?
Proof that it's a bona fide marriage.
And how long does, after the green card through VAWA, can you apply for citizenship?
3 years.
Exactly. Leave that right there. This did not happen. You're on fire, Brad. You're on fire.
I don't know. Did we? I was on fire.
We made the cut.
I look like devil lawyer there.
We made the
Did I look like the devil? Like all of a sudden, like just like nothing else happened. Just Brad just imploded.
Life is about perspective. It looked like you were on fire to me.
Yeah. Okay.
We made it.
I don't know. I think we lost.
Julian, I'm putting my
only down. Julian could tell us. Julian, give us either the ding ding or the
Julian, access denied.
Julian says we blew up the place.
Julian, I felt like we made it, okay? I'm still sweating from that round.
All right, comments of the day.
On a sweet note. On a sweeter note, let's see what the Brad Squad had to say for today. Alrighty, first comment of the day comes from DeForbes, and she says, "Squad up, family, double fisting with a foot on Insta."
All right. We have a whole bunch of people doing it now.
All right. So, from our host chat, let's see. Lisa Bling Rose. In reference to Jeffrey Epstein, Uncle Brad sounds like Perry Mason. We get everything right here. Uncle Brad and his team is the best.
Perry Mason.
Mason.
Yes, he was
Perry Mason.
Perry Mason. He was an investigator. Okay.
Alrighty. Next one comes from Linda Shaw. Terms to our pets on Spotify. Uncle Brad's show gives you everything, even Animal Planet.
That's right. I saw that comment. That one made me laugh, yeah.
And the last one for today comes from Cindy Alberts. And she says, "Kudos to the greatest immigration lawyer in America, the person of Brad. Thanks for all you are doing."
Thank you very much. I love the compliments. And Nesquik, great job.
Hey, no.
Good energy today,
You did a great job, Uncle Brad.
No, Nesquik. You did a good job, Nesquik. And this show, we should just change this Nesquik Live.
No, you're killing it.
Let's make it Nesquik Live.
I mean, we can make some chocolate. How about we sip chocolate milk during the Brad show?
Oh.
How's that?
What about some strawberry milk?
One in each mug.
One of each mug. All right, we'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow, my American dream is going to come true, I think. Because I'm going to be joined by Nesquik and Yo-Yo. We'll see you tomorrow on Friday. Thanks for watching. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?